I'm recording.
So am I.
That's exciting.
Alright, well hopefully it worked.
Man, it probably did. We can also do the clap thing to maybe have a redundancy, but I feel like for the most part, whatever we're going to do is a little makeshift.
Alright, well that's probably close enough. It just needs to get close and then I can listen to it and sync it up myself.
Okay.
With my eardrums.
Oh, you have those? It's disgusting.
I do have those. It's pretty cool.
It's not cool. It's gross.
Well, you know, I use them to listen to things. And it's kind of
raised
important.
in a barn, weren't you?
I was actually raised in a barn. That's very true. So hello everyone.
Hello and welcome to the talk box.
Is that what we're calling it?
I have no idea, but it's what we're doing.
It's true.
We're talking to our boxes. Wait a minute, that's not quite right.
Hey, did we ever figure out what visuals we're putting this with?
No, actually, I meant to talk about this before we were recording, that in order for this to go up on YouTube, there does need to be some sort of visual component, or it just literally won't let you do it.
Mm-hmm. So it should just be like a loop of Mudkip or something.
It could be that. We could, like, sketch some, like, terrible, like, MS Paint shit.
Well, you're the master of that, not me.
Don't sell yourself short, bro.
You love my...
You also lack talent.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You got me real good. Yeah, we'll figure something out. Oh, well. Yeah. I mean, obviously, whoever's listening to this will already know what we've done, so there's that.
No, that's not necessarily true, unless it's just one image the whole time, which it very well could be, because we're both pretty lazy. The whole point of this was... We're not ambitious. Yeah, it's supposed to be pretty easy.
Well, maybe I'll record myself playing Tetris like we talked about.
Maybe, sure.
That'll be fun.
Did you bring stuff for that? No, you can do it from the computer, I guess,
can do
right?
it from the computer, yeah.
Yeah.
Though, I don't really want to play Tetris for an hour straight.
You could just loop 15 minutes.
I also don't think I could fit...
No one will even notice.
I also don't think I could fit an hour of me recording Tetris on my computer. Not having.
You didn't bring some sort of portable hard drive?
No.
What are you, a noob?
I did not
noob
bring
at this?
a portable hard drive on my vacation now.
I did. And I also brought my recording box and a video game.
Of course you did. Clearly you are more committed to this than I am.
Well, that's possibly true, but also I made a promise to one of my friends who lives here in Pennsylvania that I would record something with him for his birthday.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah. What? I don't know when that's going up, but I'm going to put it up.
Oh, I'm excited for that. So,
yeah.
An official announcement just there, ladies and gentlemen. That's pretty big.
Yeah, that should be the first anyone's really heard about that. That's exciting. Look forward to that.
Who is your friend?
He goes by the name... Well, he goes by many names. Online, he's usually Top Hat, some combination of things. On YouTube, he's Minor King.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I'm not familiar with Top Hat. I thought it would be Minor King.
Yeah, it's Minor King.
That's exciting.
But, YouTube is literally the only place I've ever known him to use the moniker Minor King. I don't even know what that is.
Weird.
I don't know what that comes from.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Well, that's what
fun fact, neither one of us is actually using the microphones that we usually use to record everything.
Yep.
I bought this fancy new podcast one that should theoretically be good for this, but I've never really used it to do anything, so if it's a little weird, I apologize for that.
Yeah, and I didn't bring my headset because I'm foolish.
Well, yes, but as a result of that, you're using our mutual friend's much nicer microphone headset.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming it's much nicer. It certainly costs
more money. The audio quality on my end is much nicer.
Yes, right. It's definitely peaking out for me, but I think that's just because Mumble is ridiculous.
Mumble is a little ridiculous.
Yeah. I
wish Skype had worked. I don't know what the hell was up with Skype.
Yeah, well, Skype is more glitchy than Mumble in my experience.
Yeah, it's actually been a considerable amount of time since the last time I tried using Skype.
Yeah. You know what I've actually been using a lot lately that's wonderful, and I highly recommend it?
What's that?
Google Hangout.
Oh yeah, we were using that earlier to try and solve one of my millions of unanticipated problems.
Basically, it has all these like ridiculous pro features that Skype has, but it's free. So like you can have multiple video chats simultaneously, like everyone talking at the same time to each other.
So you can like chat roulette all of your friends simultaneously and show them your dick?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And I do that on a daily basis. It's an exercise. I
mean, I figured.
Yeah.
I figured that's why I kept getting all those invites with a crudely drawn picture of a penis on it in my email.
Hey, what are you talking about crudely? I got mad skills, as we previously discussed.
Why don't you demonstrate it by drawing a dick picture, asshole?
All right, here's the dick picture. There you go.
Yeah. By the way, don't let your kids listen to this because I'm too tired not to swear.
Fuck that shit.
Precisely. Cocksucker.
I
don't even say that. I'm just saying that to be as offensive as possible.
Oh yeah, so Google Hangout's really sweet because not only does it have, it has multiple video chats, which is like the main selling point, but it also has, you can all watch YouTube together and everyone like watching at the same time. You can share screens, which is like a really useful tool when you're trying to fix things for people. It's something that
when has that ever happened?
Yeah, I know. It's something that I desperately want to get my mother on because she's constantly instant messaging me being like, I don't understand how to fix this. Why is it doing this? It's asking me all these questions. What do I do? And rather than be like, all right, Mom, describe to me in detail every inch of your computer starting from the bottom left, I can just have her, like, we can do a Google Hangout and I can watch it. Unless, of course, there's something wrong with her browser, and then we're all fucked.
I gotta say, I'm a little surprised. Your impression of your mom just now was not your usual one. It sounded more like Jim Gaffigan doing that woman who's always critical of everything he says.
Yeah, well, the time zone really affected me a lot, so.
You feel like you're too close to your mom to make fun of her? Is that what's going on?
I mean, I am...
She can tell!
I am certainly closer to her now than I was before. The thing is that it's not really making fun of her because that's the voice she uses for herself. So whenever she's telling a story, my dad sounds like... And she sounds like... Yep.
Yeah. I can't think of a time at which my mom did an impression of herself, which is actually kind of weird.
Well, my mom just tells lots of stories all the time, and often stories about herself, so she's constantly, like, talking in her voice that's not her.
Yeah. I mean, like, I am just constantly using a plethora of voices to make fun of my own idiocy, but I think that's on the far end of the spectrum.
Well, I mean, that's something you've clearly developed on your own. If I do funny voices,
sort of.
It's because of my mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how was your travel times getting to the place that you live?
Well, let's back things up a little bit. I still can't talk too much about jury duty, which pissed me off a little bit. I was really hoping to be done by now so I could talk about it during this trip.
Oh yeah, that would make a lot more sense, yeah. And also give us something to talk about, because we can totally fill an hour.
Yeah, it would be great. It would be really helpful. But so, like, what happened, the things I could talk about are... I think I've mentioned in probably Raffle or something, which is Resonance of Fate for you people who don't know that that's what we call it. Which is, I guess, everyone. When we upload it, it's still called Raffle and like the tags and shit.
Yeah.
By the time you're watching it, it always just is Resonance of Fate. But so like, jury selection, the first part of the jury process took like 4 days, which is pretty long. It's like remarkably long.
Yeah, that's a long
every account I've ever heard. And then after that, I got put on the jury, and the trial was supposed to take like 7 days, was their original estimate, which, just as an aside, even discounting all the crap that's happened between then and now, there's no way that the trial itself will encompass merely 7 days.
Yeah.
So then we went through 4 days in a row of straight trial. Then it was Veterans Day, or Veterans Day observed, apparently. This is news to me that this is a thing. I don't really...
What was the point of that? Do we know why that happened?
Well, I guess for whatever reason, whatever methodology we use to determine what day of the year Veterans Day is, I'm honestly not sure if it's just a set, like, numerical day or what. But, like, that day fell on a Sunday, but we always get a day off for the sake of the veterans, so... It was the day after, because it was a Sunday, so we did Monday off.
Right, I just never heard of that happening before, and I feel like...
I feel like
that
the
would happen
phenomenon
every 7 years, at least.
Yeah.
At most.
5 out of 7 years.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like, we should be constantly getting a day off when calling it observed, rather than just calling it Veterans Day, but I'd never heard of that until now, and I'm 24 years old.
It's certainly news to me. But yeah, so that happened, and so because it was like a national government type holiday, court wasn't in session, so that day was mandatorily off, which I would have much preferred to go in.
Great.
So then the Tuesday of that week, court resumes. We start really late because we have a tendency to do that, which is annoying.
Right, as you mentioned.
Yeah, and then we get like 10 or 15 minutes into the trial for that day, and one of the attorneys calls a sidebar, and then the judge, like, steps out from behind his bar, and he makes an announcement to us, and he's like, So it's been brought to my attention that we cannot resume this trial today. One of the attorneys is sick, so we're not gonna resume until Thursday. So we got the rest of that day off, and then the next day off.
So wait, I'm confused though. You like faffed around for 15 minutes before this happened? They didn't just immediately come in and 5 minutes.
They didn't just immediately like it wasn't like faffing. Like there was actually like a witness and like questions and stuff. Like trial was actually happening, but then like all of a sudden one of the attorneys decided they couldn't keep going for the day.
Weird.
Yeah, it was strange for sure.
Did it smell funny in the courtroom all of a sudden?
No. I feel like also the thing you're implying, I probably would have heard something. I don't know.
That's a good point.
Or, at least an objection from the other side. Like, that's pretty rude.
Yeah, very rude indeed.
So then that happened, and the issue there being that, like, if the trial had lasted 7 days and there had been, like, 1 day left over for deliberation, then we would have, like, exactly gotten the trial done before I had to leave in order to go see my family in Pennsylvania for the holidays.
Right.
But, of course, delaying it by 2 days screws that entire possible schedule up.
Right. So there was a chance that you would just completely miss Thanksgiving altogether.
Right. And chance is sort of a key word, because then the rest of the week was this, like, weird, frustrating anomaly.
Did you mention that to your mother, by the way? Or did you wait until
I did. When I was at the airport to leave for here, I was talking to her on the phone, and I told her.
It's like, oh, by the way, I almost didn't make it.
Yeah, by the way, this might not have happened.
I'm sure she loves
She's like,
that.
yeah, I thought it was really suspicious that you weren't talking to me for a whole week. And I was like, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't, like, none of this was my fault. And none of this was, like, anyone's fault. It's just, like, it was just a pile of bad circumstances, which I specialize in accumulating, for the record.
Right.
So then, like, what happened was, like, he polled the jury to sort of find out, like, if anyone would experience, like, extreme hardship as a result of this. And I'm like, multi-$100 plane ticket that I already told you guys about during jury selection.
Right.
We should deal with this. And then he's like, okay, like, what are the dates that you're traveling? And I answer. And then, like, I don't hear anything. And then, like, midday Thursday, he, like, tells me to stay behind during one of the breaks. And then I have, like, a sidebar with him and all the lawyers.
Ooh, just you?
Yeah, just me.
Wow, you're
like,
fancy.
I actually went up there. Yeah. I'm like an honorary lawyer somehow. Not really.
Did they give you your lawyer badge?
I wish they gave me my lawyer badge.
Oh, those bastards.
I know.
You should
I
have
really
just
wish I
taken
had a
one of
lawyer
theirs.
badge. Well, they didn't display them prominently because they were in a courthouse, so it was sort of assumed.
I see.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's mostly for showing commoners, like when you're out on an investigation, as lawyers are wont to do.
Right.
You need to show people your attorney's badge so that they know that you're a lawyer.
Of course.
Phoenix Wright does not follow anything resembling actual legal practices. Like, you do so much police work in those lawyer games is not correct.
I mean, you don't know what the Japanese justice system is like.
No, but it's supposed to be the American justice system.
Oh, yeah, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about then.
There's no jury, for one. There's no jury in any game other than Apollo Justice.
Oh my god. Oh my god. You know what they should do?
What's that?
They should make a Law and Order game.
You know what? Law and Order games actually exist.
Are they like Phoenix Wright, but Law and Order instead of Phoenix Wright?
I've never played them, actually.
We should try one. We should see. We should see if there are demos anywhere.
We should do that.
Yeah.
The ones that I know exist are actually a little bit older.
Oh.
Like Telltale Games, the guys who did like Sam and Max and that Back to the Future game that you still haven't played because you're a fucking asshole.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I deleted it from my computer too.
But like I went out of my way to make sure you could get a free episode of it, and then you deleted it. You're such an asshole.
Yeah, I'm an asshole. It's true. Actually, no, I have it on a time machine. I could pull it back if I wanted it.
Oh yeah, that's a great use of your time, and I'm sure you're gonna do it after we recently discussed you having to deal with the time machine and how much you hated that.
Yeah, no, it'll be fine. I'll totally play it one day.
Yeah, sure you will.
I'm not shaking my head or anything.
Yeah, but basically, like, those guys who do really good adventure games, they made, like, CSI games, and I think they even made... And I think this one was actually more recent. I think they made a Law & Order, like, Generations game or something, which has, like, detectives from actual Law & Order, and then it has, like, Stabler and Benson, and then, like, one other pair, I think, from some other, like, Law & Order franchise. So I think it just, like... I think it's basically just, like, a fanfiction crossover of everyone's favorite Law & Order detectives.
Right. That's pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah. But back to my stupid story is that I got my sidebar and it was fancy, and they were like, okay, so like let's confirm your dates so that we actually get this right. And then they like dismissed me out into the hall, and then I still didn't actually know what was going to happen. Like I had the impression based on like the line of questioning that I was going to be like the determining factor in when we like came back to session.
Right.
And that eventually did end up being the case, but it wasn't until like 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday, like just before we were like dismissed for basically until I would come back, that I knew when we were coming back.
Wow, really? What day did you leave?
Yeah, Saturday morning.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so like I was like
that would have stressed
the
the hell out of me. I would have like gone around punching people.
I honestly expected myself to be much more stressed out about it. I was very calm. I was annoyed, but I was calm.
Yeah.
So like that all kind of sucked, and that like that's all before I even like tried to go to the airport. So when it came time for me to try to get to the airport, which I kind of had to figure out on short notice, of course, not knowing that I would be going up until the 11th hour.
Right. Yeah.
I talked to one of my friends, Mike, and he was like, oh, I'm already driving some of our mutual friends for their like 7 in the morning flight. And I'm like, my flight leaves at 11. They're like, well, you can come or fuck off. And I was like, I guess I'm going with you guys at 7 a.m.
Oh my god, seriously? You had to do that?
Yeah, but I had to get up at like 5 so that I could like finish packing up my computer because I was trying to like upload a video. I've been very ambitious since I started jury duty. I've been working very hard to do everything, all of the things.
Mm-hmm.
So like up until I was like leaving to come back to Pennsylvania, I was like uploading videos and like working on Let's Play shit.
Right.
And so like, you know, I had to get up early to do that and shower and some other shit. So we actually like left my place just before like 6 in the morning, and then we drove to the airport so that my friends could get to their early flight on time, and then I like hung out at the airport for nearly 4 hours. But in addition to that, like the bag check-in, like I've only flown with Virgin America a couple of times, but I've never had any problems with them. And then like this time it was just like a bunch of bitches. I don't know what the hell happened.
Yeah, I mean they're pretty nice, but I'm pretty sure they do charge you like for every bag, regardless of the first one.
I mean, like I'm used to flying on like U.S. Airways. They charge you for like no bags. They're fucktards. I hate those guys.
Yeah.
But like they charge me like $25 for one bag, which is not the worst. I've been on a couple airlines.
Yeah,
that's
their standard.
Yeah. But so like just dropping off the bag, like checking in with it was like a fucking pain in the ass because like the line was moving at like one group of people would go through the process of like dropping off 1 or 2 bags over the course of like 3 or 4 minutes.
Oh my god.
So it just took forever to do.
Yeah.
And like there was this weird anomaly where the line for people who had to get their boarding passes at the airport was going like way faster than the one where people like checked in ahead of time.
Yeah, I never check in ahead of time.
I mean, I do all the time, and usually it helps you out. Like, it doesn't help you out, like, a ton, but, like, in a situation like that where there's a giant line of people waiting to check in bags, like, if you've already paid for it online and you've already made a record of all this shit, all you should have to do is go up there, have them confirm it on their computer, and then you drop off your bag. That's all it should be.
I mean, that is a sensible assessment of the situation.
So, like, I don't understand why it was taking, like, minutes, like, for everyone.
Yeah.
And then, just to be obnoxious, when I reached the front of the line, there's this, like, older Asian couple ahead of me, and then, like, they suddenly realize that they need to have boarding passes in order to check in their shit, and they don't have boarding passes.
Oh, good.
It was a mess. Like, the woman was, like, trying to convince me to, like, help her husband. I'm like, I want to go through security. I've already waited here for, like, 5 hours or something. I've just been here forever. Like,
yeah.
I just want to go.
Yeah, no,
I should have figured this out.
I understand. I was once... There's something weird about people, like, flying with other people. Like, flying would be totally fine if it wasn't for the people involved. Like...
Be specific in what you mean by that, because
I
assume you're correct.
Like, not even just, like, security and the airline. Like, just the other people that you have to travel with. There are so fucking many of them. It is just such an awful experience that, that, like... What's it called? That... like, once I took a red eye at, like, it was like I landed at like 6 in the morning or something, and this guy 2 rows ahead of me on the plane, as we're all standing around waiting to get our baggage, was like, "Oh, would you grab my bag?" And I'm like, "Yeah, where is it?" And I look up, and he's like, "Down there." And he points like 5 rows back in the plane. And I look at him, and I'm like, "Are you serious?" And the guy's like, and he looks at me like I'm the biggest asshole in the world, and I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Like, really? Are you really asking me to do that right now?" And a guy like 2 rows down, it's like, "I'll get it." Like I was being an asshole. I was baffled. I was so confused.
To like ask you to like go out of your way and like fight other people for someone else's luggage is kind of weird.
At
like,
6 in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, I hadn't slept. I was already in a terrible mood. Like, to ask me to do something ridiculous, oh, I almost punched the guy. I was so angry.
Yeah.
Anyway. Hello, Ashley.
Hi.
What's up?
It finished almost.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay. I will come do things. It has some complicated setup situations,
Okay.
so you can't really do it by yourself. But I'll do it when I'm done with this.
Sounds good.
Okay. Anyways.
You're gonna actually remember to cut that out.
Yes. 20 minutes. No problem.
You gonna write that down in your copybook?
Yeah. Oh shit! My pen isn't in my pocket. What will we do? Whatever.
We're fucked.
We're totally fucked. Okay, wait. Hold on. I'll press this button. Hopefully, it doesn't mess with the recording. It didn't. Okay. I press this button. 20 minutes. Got it. Done. No problem.
Fancy.
So anyway, yeah, it was terrible, and it made me very angry.
Yeah. But you know the dumbest thing that occurred during my my flight experience this time was going through security, and I really expected security to be like not an issue this time, and there's a specific reason. While I've been doing this jury duty,
right,
I've been on a high security floor, which means that I basically I go through a slightly toned down version of airport security every single day I report for jury duty.
You have to take off your shoes?
That's like the one difference, is that I don't have to take off my shoes.
That's annoying.
But like, you know, you have to take all the shit out of your pockets, and like, you know, just you metal detectors and all that crap.
Right.
And like, I actually have to do it twice, because you have to do that once just to get in the building, and then like once at the actual floor because it's high security.
Is it something about your trial that requires high security?
I don't think it's specific to my trial. It's just like any case that I guess they deem might have a situation that, like, I don't really know what determines it.
Okay.
I just know that we are on a high security floor.
That's annoying.
Yeah, I mean,
so you
it could be a lot more convenient.
So you figured you'd be well practiced at this.
Yeah, and you know, I did all my usual preparations. I wore like loafers instead of like comfortable walking shoes because they're easier to like take off and deal with in that shit. Like I emptied all my pockets ahead of time and like put the shit in like in my backpack.
Can we talk about loafers for a second? What the hell kind of word is loafers? Why is the shoe called loafers? Loafers.
Because they're for loafing. They're not for walking. They're for loafing.
What is loafing?
When it's just sort of like hanging. Loafing is like loitering, is my understanding. So you're just sort of hanging around.
My mental image of loafing is like a dude with really terrible posture, just like flopping his feet around as he walked.
Where do you even get that? What
is that? I'm a weird person. Anyway, so you were prepared.
Yeah, so I was prepared. You know, like I just like I've been through the airport enough times, and I've been doing this shit every day for jury duty. So I was like, I know what I'm doing. So I get through there, and they run my bag through the X-ray, and you know you just sort of have a sense when they're suspicious of something. So I was like, ah, shit.
Right.
And like for some reason I had it in my head that the thing was that this time I was bringing back my like recording device for Let's Plays, and like somehow that would just register weird as like something someone wouldn't normally carry with them, and they would think it was like a terrorist device until they looked at it.
Okay.
So like I was like, oh, fine. I kind of thought this might happen. And so they take it aside. The woman's like, oh, like we're gonna have to look at this. I'm like, obviously, that's why you stopped me. Like, I don't know what the formality is.
And then she puts on the rubber glove and tells you to bend over.
No, that wasn't the situation.
Oh, damn.
But like she opens the bag up and she's rooting around and like messing my carefully packed shit, which is lovely. It's great.
Okay, love that.
And then she takes out these weird like pieces of paper or something and like swabs them over like various like completely random items. Like let me think. I think like I had a little a case for my 3DS, and I think she like swabbed that, and she swabbed. Like I had like a notebook or something. I think she swabbed that, and then like I have this like little tin, like a small metal box that like some playing cards came in, and it's what I've been housing. I've been working on this game in my spare time, like an original card game, the type of thing like Flux or something.
Right.
I've told you about this, Tech, off
Yeah.
off the air, but I don't want to go into too much detail because I'm really excited about it and might actually try to do something with it someday, so I don't want people to steal my ideas.
Fuckers.
But basically, I've made this card game. It's all on like index cards. It's not like plutonium or some shit.
Right.
And it's just in a small metal tin that's like not particularly suspicious or anything.
Right.
She swabs that too. She's like, I'm gonna have to run this back through the X-ray. I'm like, whatever. What am I gonna say to that? No, fuck you. Like,
is it made of like a weird metal or something?
I don't think so. I think it's just like, I don't even know what. I would guess like aluminum or something, but like it's tougher than that. I don't know.
All right, whatever.
It doesn't seem particularly remarkable to me. I'll say that.
Right.
So she runs it back through the machine. She comes back. She still seems kind of confused. But then she's like, okay, you're good to go. And I'm like, okay, so just so I know, what is it that was a problem here? Just, you know, for packing stuff. Future reference. I was like, what was the thing that caught your attention here? Because, like, you know, obviously at this point they didn't seem to think I was a threat, so I didn't think that was an unreasonable question or anything.
Right.
And she says, she, like, holds up the tin with the cards in it, and she goes, this looked like it had electronic in it. I'm like, I have no earthly concept of what that means.
It looked like it had electronic in it?
Electronic in it, not an electronic, not electronics plural. It looked like it had electronic in it. And I'm like, what the fuck? And she's like, it was because of the paper. And I'm like, that makes less sense. That doesn't make more sense. Like, I just don't understand what happened or why. But it was like, it's like this metal box full of paper somehow looks like electronic, and somehow electronic is a problem. But here's the thing. Like, the rest of my bag is full of electronics. I have the box for recording, like, video games. I have a laptop. I have my 3DS. I have a different DS for when the battery runs out on that.
Oh, my God.
It's like, I have an iPod, my cell phone. Like, my bag is just made of electronics. But the most suspicious electronic device is a box full of paper. And I do not understand why.
Yeah, have you seen? There's been a bunch of articles recently saying that the TSA is a huge waste of money and doesn't actually do anything useful.
I mean, people have been saying that for a long time.
Yeah, well, it's true.
Like, since not very long after September 11th, people have been very skeptical about the actual results that the TSA gets versus the amount of inconvenience they cause basically everybody.
Yeah, and I mean, you're constantly hearing stories about people accidentally making it through the system with, like, actual weapons on them.
Yeah.
Like, I heard about some off-duty cop or something who had a loaded firearm in his bag that he forgot about.
And and you know, shit happens. Like, he probably didn't mean to bring that with him. But
he got out of off the plane at his destination and pulled out his gun and showed it to the TSA people, and they were like, "Look what I just did!" And they like arrested him.
What?
Yeah, and he was like, "I already made it here. Like, I just wanted to let you guys know that you fucked this up real bad."
That's so messed up. That's insane.
I also think I heard a story recently about some kid finding a handgun, like, under the seat or in the seat back pocket or something because the, like, air marshal had left it there or something.
Oh my god, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Anyway, TSA is terrible. Well, my travels were pretty
Hang on one second, Tech. I'm hearing, like, weird interference. Say something.
Say something.
Wow, what is that? What's causing that? Are you hearing it on my end as well?
Hearing what?
Like, I'm hearing, like, an electronic buzz sort of, like, distorting your voice when you're talking.
No.
Oh, it's so weird. Why did that just suddenly start happening?
I don't know. Wire is still happening.
Say something else?
I'm saying something else.
It's still happening.
I don't know. Is it a problem?
I don't know. I mean, as long as it's recording fine on your end, it's fine. It's a little annoying, but I can deal with it.
I think it's recording fine on my end. I don't see any extra buzz or any extra noise in the waveform.
Yeah.
So anyway. Okay. So yeah, my travels were super uneventful, actually. My girlfriend picked me up. Well, not didn't pick me up. She was already there. But she got her car, and we went. Drove to the airport. I got up the escalator. There was a long line, but for some reason I did not have to use it. Got through security. I had a burger.
Where was it from?
Burger King. I thought about stopping at the other place. What's it called? I forget.
In-N-Out, the place we love.
No.
Oh no, the Carl's Jr.
No, it was a burger place. It was like a seafood place, like inside the airport.
Oh yeah, I saw that place. Yeah.
But
what airline were you on? You were on.
I was on JetBlue, which has the same terminal as Virgin.
Yeah.
So I almost went to that place, but decided against it because it would have been like 3 times more for a similarly mediocre burger.
Yeah, probably.
So not doing that. Anyway, so that was pretty exciting. Yeah, and I flew, no problem. I gotta say though, JetBlue's extra space, which is only like $60 more for a seat, super comfortable, and it's essentially first class. You know, it's the first like 4 rows and then the window aisles.
Yeah. I think I've been on something similar. I don't think it was on JetBlue, but something functionally similar.
I find it really funny though that they charge extra money for the even more legroom seats by the exit rows, even the first exit row, which cannot recline due to FAA regulations.
That's weird.
So they're like giving you more legroom, but not letting you recline, and still charging
Tek,
you
don't tell me you're
$60.
one of those people who reclines on an airplane. I fucking hate those guys.
You don't recline on the airplane?
No, because it's fucking obnoxious is why.
It's not obnoxious.
It's super obnoxious. Every single time I'm on a plane, I got chair back in my face.
Okay.
It's like 2 seconds into the flight, chair in my face.
Yeah, it's because they're super uncomfortable when you have to sit straight upright.
They're fine.
They're not fine.
I mean, they're not comfortable either way.
I mean, I agree with that. But yeah, I always recline. Everyone reclines.
No, they don't. Every flight I'm on, the only person who reclines is the asshole in front of me.
I have not had this experience. I mean, I would say that it kind of depends upon the airline you're flying with, because some of the older planes, the seats are much closer together, and the seat backs recline further. And so you definitely do end up with seat back in your face.
I got seat back in my face every time, bro. In my face.
Do you always fly U.S. Air?
No, I flew fucking Virgin this time. The same thing happened.
Really?
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
This guy I worked with calls it U.S. Scare.
Why does he call it that?
I don't know, because he hates all airlines that are not United, which is funny because United is equally terrible.
United's not very good.
It's ridiculous. He's got a lot of like brand loyalty to United, which is fine. Like he can love United because he's been flying United so goddamn much that like he's like super like platinum golden dick man.
He's technically vice president of the company. Yeah. He just doesn't have any say.
So all he has to do is like walk up in the joint. He's got like a bunch of ladies on his arms, and like they're asking him for if he wants champagne and shit. Like it's ridiculous. So okay, fine, you can love your brand for that. But like those of us that have to fly coach and United hate it because it's a terrible experience.
It's pretty bad.
JetBlue or Virgin. Those are my choices.
I do want to say one quick thing about airports before I imagine we move on, because I don't think we're going to spend the whole day talking about airports.
You don't want to spend an hour talking about airports?
I mean, we could. I've been ranting basically this whole half hour.
Pretty much. It's fine.
Yeah. But so, like, one thing that I thought was really funny, and if you follow me on Twitter, you probably already saw this, but, like, there was a sign, like, right by the gate at the terminal. Yeah. And it was like a big list of like things not to bring on an airplane, like things you get in trouble. They're like banned from you bringing them on an airplane. And it was like it was like a picture list. And so like going in order from the top left, it was like scissors, screwdriver, handgun. And I'm like, hold on, how is handgun third on the list of things not to bring on an airplane?
Well, those scissors, man, those can be really dangerous.
Not that dangerous.
Okay, and if someone brings a screwdriver, they could dismantle the whole plane without you even noticing.
I mean, if they were the Flash, but I feel like then you should just institute a rule against the Flash being let on an airplane.
That's true. I mean, he probably doesn't fly, though, considering the fact that he can run so fast.
Exactly, so it doesn't cause anyone any inconvenience, really.
Yeah, that's true. Well, no, I mean, maybe you're like a super engineer who knows how to, like, unscrew the one screw that causes the whole plane to fall apart.
Okay, for one, I doubt that exists.
No, it totally exists.
Secondly, if there's such a thing as a super engineer, my dad is that, and I'm pretty sure he would have told me if there was something that ridiculous to worry about.
All right. Well, fine. Ruin all my hopes and dreams about people dismantling planes with one screw.
That's my job. Have you not watched our show?
Yeah, fair point.
I am an asshole. You say simple things and I shoot you down every 5 minutes and make fun of the fact that you never remember the thing I shot you down for last week.
Right.
That's basically what we do.
I should keep a tally, and then you'll just have nothing to do aside from, like, complain. Because I won't have forgotten anything, and so therefore all it'll be is just like you yelling at me the entire time.
Hey, honestly, if there's something that helps you remember things better, I think it's better for both of us. It'll be slightly disappointing for our viewers more than anything, I would guess.
Yeah,
but yeah.
But anyway, all right, let's change the subject.
Okay.
There's a lot of movies coming out soon.
Okay.
A number of really, big things. Lots of trailers being released.
You might have to refresh my memory. I'm a little bit out of touch. It's been a while since I've seen a movie other than Wreck-It Ralph, which I saw yesterday.
Well, my question is, anything you've seen recently or are really excited about seeing in the future?
I mean, I was really excited about Wreck-It Ralph, and I saw it, and it did not disappoint.
I really want to see that really badly.
I was pleasantly surprised at how complex the characters were.
Yeah.
Like, I figured Wreck-It Ralph would probably be kind of complex because he's like a sort of an anti-hero in a way.
Right.
Just inherently because he's a villain trying to be a good guy.
Right.
But, like, basically all of the characters are pretty complex.
Right. And Wreck-It Ralph is essentially just, like, the original Donkey Kong, but not the original Donkey Kong, right?
Yeah, he's clearly modeled after Donkey Kong.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, or are too young to remember, Donkey Kong started out as the villain of the first Mario game.
Right.
He would throw barrels at you. Anyway.
Yeah.
So you loved it?
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
5 out of 5?
I mean, there yeah.
4 out of 5?
Maybe like 4.7. Like the thing is, there's nothing about it that's really bad, but it was like so close to being like perfect that I was like more aware of the few things that I wanted them to do differently.
Okay, I mean that's
so
that's
I'd give it like a really high 4 point something out of 5.
Yeah, gotcha. All right, yeah, I definitely need to see it.
I believe my family is very media intense, I guess I'll call it.
That's very true. Yep.
So I'm pretty sure that for Thanksgiving we'll be seeing Skyfall.
Oh, I want to see that so bad.
I hear nothing but amazing things about it, and honestly, whatever.
Why whatever?
I don't know. I don't know what it. I think it's still. I don't think I've seen a full Daniel Craig James Bond movie.
Wait, really?
And I just never bought him as a James Bond.
You never saw Casino Royale?
No.
Okay, I will grant that when I first heard Daniel Craig was going to be James Bond, I was like,
yeah, I've just never been excited about it.
Yeah,
and like,
but he's
the
really
thing is
good
about
in Casino Royale. That movie's
I don't know
awesome.
about even the ones up till Skyfall. I'd still sort of heard like mediocre stuff.
Oh, well, Quantum of Solace was garbage. It was absolute garbage. It made no sense, and there was no real plot, and there was no villain, and it was. But
I mean, like between what I'd heard about Quantum of Solace and Casino Royale, like basically everything was sort of a mush of and like I was like, okay, yeah, I want to spend money to go see James Bond, sure. But like I hear like amazing shit about Skyfall, and I think it's just like I still have no reason to think that it will be anything other than I'm expecting. So like I'm probably gonna come out of it being like shocked and amazed at how great it is. But like going into it, I just don't care.
It's probably better
like,
to have lower expectations than higher ones.
Yeah.
But like I mean, it was shot by my favorite cinematographer, so I'm definitely going to see it as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Roger Deakins, for those that are wondering, he did most of the Coen Brothers movies, and Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, is that true?
He did, yes. Man's got some skills.
Yeah.
So it looks gorgeous, and I'm desperate to see it. But I also really want to see Wreck-It Ralph. Really badly. That's something Danielle and I definitely want to see, like right away.
My family was at Denny's the other day, and we were having this discussion about how useless QR codes are, and like who the hell actually uses them. Do you use QR codes? Your phone actually does it. I have a BlackBerry, so fuck me.
You mean those
like weird like square like black and white barcode boxes that you scan with some app on your phone?
I did use one the other day because Heinz is putting them on their ketchup bottles, and if you scan them and you can send like a little like note to a what's it called? A serviceman, and if you do, they will send $1 to, I don't know, some charity having to do with servicemen. I was like, all right,
that's pretty cool. Yeah,
no
that's a good reason to do it.
My email address and being like, hey guys, don't die, and then they send them money.
Yeah, like see that like that's a good use of it. But I feel like most QR codes are like, hey, look at our like derpy ass like promotional site that we didn't proofread or something.
Yeah. I mean,
but so like my
generally they're not very good.
My dad, to sort of like test this hypothesis, my dad like got an app for his phone, and then we scanned. They had like a bunch of Hobbit shit at Denny's, which was actually kind of hilarious in its own right. They had like seed cake French toast and like Hobbit whole breakfast.
Wow, really? Already?
Yeah,
Doesn't it not come out for another like month and a half?
Close to a month. Actually, a little bit less than a month at this point.
Oh, is it a Christmas release?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's December 14th that it comes out.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
I am not excited.
Well, you're not.
This one I have a much more decisive reason.
You don't.
Is that honestly?
Yeah.
No, I'm not a big like Lord of the Rings fan. It doesn't do it for me at all.
That's fine. I mean,
like I've never. In fairness, I've never tried reading the books, but honestly, since the movies bore me so goddamn much, I really doubt the books are gonna do better.
The books are just more of the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would not like the books if you don't like the movies.
Like, the thing about Lord of the Rings is, like, there are some cool things about Lord of the Rings, but so much of what happens is just, like, plotting nonsense that I just, like, I have to try so hard to find something I actually care about. It just doesn't work for me.
All right. I mean, I disagree, but I can understand why.
Yeah,
might not like
but my point simply being, like, as opposed to Skyfall, where I'm like, I don't really have a good reason, but I want to see it.
Yeah.
Like, this I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure I want to see it.
Yeah. Oh wow! Apparently Benedict Cumberbatch plays a character in The Hobbit.
Yeah, I think I heard that at some point.
Yeah, he plays the necromancer.
Okay, that's fancy.
Yeah.
What are your opinions, real quick, on the change from it being one movie into two and then finally three? For me, my impression is that's even less of an incentive for me to see it because it's probably just more plotting bullshit to pad out three movies.
Well, I'm not sure. Well, first of all, I wouldn't say it would be. I wouldn't call it padding out. There's certainly a lot of stuff in this one book. A lot of shit happens. I would say that.
Yeah, but at the same time, the fact that they didn't go into it, or even like for most of the production process, they didn't seem privy to the fact that they would need more than one movie.
No.
And then,
it
like,
was always going to be two movies. It wasn't.
That's not true.
I never heard that it was only going to be one movie.
It was supposed to be one movie for a really long time.
Well, as soon as Peter Jackson signed on and principal photography started, it was two movies. Because I remember hearing, oh, Peter Jackson's finally agreed to do it, but he's going to do it as two movies. This was just like a stipulation for him to do it. Because he was like, I don't want to do a Hobbit movie because there are 13 dwarves and there's no way to make them all interesting characters.
I don't think that's true. I'm pretty sure the announcement about the two movies wasn't made until like less than 3 months ago.
No, the 3 movie announcement was made less.
No, the 3 movie announcement was like way less than that. It was like maybe a month and a half.
All right, well, we're going to Google this because I'm almost positive you're wrong. When?
It seems like an excellent use of everyone's time.
Hobbit movie. I don't even know what to search for.
Well, that's the thing. Look, people in the comments can argue about it.
All right,
there's plenty of material for people to argue about in the comments. It'll give them something to do. It'll let us move on so that we don't spend 5 minutes Google searching.
Yeah. Anyway,
So any other movies that you know of coming out?
Wait, I have information here. According to Empire Magazine, The Hobbit is now to be filmed over 2 movies. This posted on April 17th, 2009.
That cannot be true.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. There's no way it's 2009.
Why not?
Because that's way too long ago. There's no chance that is true.
Well, whatever. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Leave a comment.
this is why I don't want to get into it because it's just gonna be us shouting at each other.
Well,
like, let's.
Anyway. So yeah, I'm really excited for The Hobbit. There's a bunch of other movies coming out soon that I'm really excited for. What were they?
I want to see Rise of the Guardians because that's like a really weird concept that's like right up my alley.
Yeah, I could see why that would be something that interests you. It doesn't thrill me just because like I don't know. I feel like it's just gonna be like a bunch of like gimmicky like look.
I mean, it could be.
We're from.
But, like,
this is my thing. Look at this joke about me being Santa Claus.
I don't know. The trailers make it seem like it's probably not gonna be like Shakespeare or anything, but like I feel like it's gonna be an actual movie. Like,
yeah, we'll see.
It's not gonna be the impression we both had of Frankenweenie, which we discussed after Paranorman.
Yeah, if anybody saw Frankenweenie, leave a comment, say what you thought of it. I've heard a number of good things about it.
Seriously?
Yeah, a bunch of people are saying that it's like Tim Burton's best in a long time. which kind of hurts my brain a little bit. But
I feel like the only good thing I ever heard about Frankenweenie was from someone on the radio who was also saying that like Brave was like the greatest Pixar movie.
I'm pretty
and
sure
that person is snorting cocaine.
I'm pretty sure
Brave sucks ass.
It's universally agreed that Brave was the worst Pixar movie. I never saw it, but everyone I've spoken to
I
is
still
like,
haven't
meh.
seen like Ratatouille or like Cars 2, but like of
well,
the ones I know,
forget
it's
about
certainly.
Cars 2.
I would like to, but they're not letting me.
All right. I mean, Ratatouille was good. First of all. Second of all,
like I just haven't seen it. I mean, it didn't thrill me from the trailers, but like I have the sense that it's probably
even
good.
my friend who's obsessed with Disney was like, it was all right. And she never says that about a Disney movie. She's always like, oh my god, it was the greatest thing that ever happened.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah. You know my friend who's like super Disney.
Yeah.
She was not thrilled after seeing it. She was like, meh.
You know what I'm actually really excited about, and this may come as a shock to you or to most people.
What's that?
Les Miserables.
That strikes me as a little bit of a surprise. Yeah.
There's something about Les Miserables, and I've never actually seen like a real professional production of it. The closest I've seen is like a high quality like high school production of it, which scoff at, sure, fine, but it was actually really good. Like it was very well done.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know. There's something about it that always resonates with me. Like when I was watching the trailer, I swear to God, I was like getting misty. I was like, oh my God, this is so moving.
You were getting verklempt?
I was getting all verklempt. It was really getting to me. Oh my God. Anyway, I want to see it for that reason. They also like did something a little innovative when shooting it. Is because it's a musical, rather than record the audio, months before production and then on production having to sync to the thing.
Yeah.
They've actually mic'd all the actors like they would in a theater, obviously hiding them properly. And then they have a piano accompanist playing along with them while they actually sing the lyrics, and that is what is recorded, and that is what is played in the theater. And then after that happens, the composer has to go in and adjust the tempo of the music to their performance.
Interesting.
Which is it's something they've never done it before that way, and they talked about it, and it's the behind-the-scenes thing a lot about how much that helped and how it allowed them to do different takes and different performances and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, I like musicals in general. I mean, I basically like anything that a gay dude likes.
See, I don't. I am not a musical person, especially not a serious musical. Like if it's funny.
Well, yeah, a serious musical ranks a lot lower for me. I feel like most musicals are generally comedic to like some fairly strong degree. So like, I'm not super psyched about Les Mis, but like I feel like there's a reasonably strong chance that I will see it at some point.
Yeah.
And like I'm sure it's gonna be good. It's sort of like Argo. Like Argo, like is the type like the Oscar movies, the ones you're like, I know this is gonna be good, but like I just don't give a shit.
Sure, yeah.
Like that. I mean, like let me try to think of a really good example of that.
When you say Argo, you're talking about the Ben Affleck movie?
Yeah.
When has anyone ever said that a Ben Affleck movie was good besides like Good Will Hunting?
But like, did you see the trailer for Argo? Are you drunk?
I didn't.
Like,
I didn't know. Was it good?
Argo's
I've never
amazing.
Even heard of this movie.
What are you talking? That's not even true. We went to see Moonrise Kingdom together, and there was a trailer for Argo at the time.
Oh, really? Well, I did.
Yes!
I totally blocked it from my memory then. Look, I've only got so much room in here. I can only keep a couple things.
Well, apparently, yeah. Remember that time you were like, "Oh, what if I just learn to remember everything?" I'm no longer concerned about this. But like, no, like if you watch the trailers for that, that's like one of those like Oscar movies that's gonna be like nominated for every possible Oscar. It's gonna win a shit ton of them, and it's gonna be like movie of the year.
The Artist. The black and white.
Sure. I haven't seen The Artist, but that is exactly the type of thing.
It got
it's
a ton of really, really good reviews, and it won all these Oscars. And
and like everyone you've ever talked to is like, "Oh, this movie's amazing," but you're just like, "Oh, like everyone just says it's amazing." Like, I don't know. For me, once a movie or anything really reaches a certain saturation of just everyone loves it, for some reason I'm turned off to it.
That's a little hipster.
I know it is, and I don't know why that is, but it's like
I understand the compulsion because like. People get so like it's partially the reason why I am hesitant to be like obsessed with David Tennant like everyone else is, because everyone is obsessed with David Tennant and I don't like.
To be clear, he's talking about Doctor Who. If you're confused,
he's really good.
Multiple actors play the Doctor. Yeah. David Tennant is one of them, and he's very popular.
Yeah, like I have no like I love him. I think he's awesome, but
he's great.
Part of me and I still prefer Matt Smith like regardless. But part of me,
I think Matt Smith is a better Doctor than either Eccleston or Tennant.
Yeah.
But there is something about Tennant that is charming, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Again, I'm a little bit gay. I'm a little
bit, but it's
fine.
A little bit. Anyway, so yeah, no, I totally know what you're talking about. It will definitely. I think it'll do really well. Apparently, what's it called? The Dark Knight Rises is apparently vying for a lot of Oscar nominations this year.
Really?
They took out the entire front page in Variety. So there's.
That's interesting. So many of the people I know sort of hated it.
Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, like a lot, especially like people at SMBC are really down on it.
I liked it a lot.
I feel like JP was the only one I could think of who was really like, I liked it, and like I liked the character stuff, but like there were definitely some like pacing issues and like weird story stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The whole like throwing him in a hole thing. Spoilers, by the way. You probably should like if you haven't seen the Dark Knight Rises. First of all, why?
I can no longer hear you.
You should probably skip ahead. But anyway, the whole pit thing is like really obvious. Like clearly he's going to get out. So putting him in there just seemed like a I don't know. It just didn't feel
like there was no way that Batman was just gonna die in a hole in Asia or whatever at the end of the third movie.
One complaint that I have about all of the Dark Knight movies is that one of the coolest things about Batman is he's this really badass, super intuitive detective.
Yeah,
he's like Sherlock Holmes with like a fucking cape and a cowl. Like he should.
Yeah,
and I really don't feel.
But one of the Dark Knight obviously takes a very different angle from most existing Batman stories that I know of, anyway.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like it's an element that needs to be in a Batman story. And like I love the Dark Knight series, and I loved the Dark Knight Rises. But I feel like the solution and this is a very specific moment, but the solution to him getting out of that hole. If lose the rope and then you'll be able to make it, like all that like metaphor and all that shit. I feel like not only was it a little self-serving and heavy-handed, but it wasn't to the character. Like I was like, oh, Batman, he's real smart. He's gonna find some crazy way of getting out of here that no one's thought of.
Yeah, but like that's not such a logical leap.
Yeah,
like you're saying it should have been something like more difficult to figure out because he's Batman. He would have seen that soon.
Right, exactly, and it ended up just being like, trust in yourself and you'll make it, bro. It's like, come on, really?
Yeah.
Like I was expecting him to use the rope in some fancy way to like hook
it
around
I kind of was too. Yeah.
So that that was disappointing to me.
I don't want to like oversell the Dark Knight series because honestly, I thought the Dark Knight was kind of weak.
Really?
To be honest. Yeah, like the second one, the Dark Knight.
Yeah, we talked about that, yeah.
Yeah. Like everyone thinks it. Like literally recently, some of my friends had a discussion. Like, well, obviously, the Dark Knight is like the most amazing film or something. I was like, no, like it has so many problems. It cannot be like even the great. Like for me, Batman Begins is streets ahead. Streets ahead.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I feel like the Batman Begins is. It just has a different feel to it. It doesn't feel as...
But that's because it's an origin story.
I guess.
Like, he hasn't fully established who he is, but it's a self-contained story in its own right.
Meh.
And, like, it doesn't spend, like, fucking 45 minutes, like, dicking around with Harvey Dent, only for him to, like, die at the end. Like, spoiler alert. If you haven't seen The Dark Knight for some stupid reason.
Yeah, well, I agree with that. I think that Harvey Dent's character was a little weak, and that they could have handled his development a bit better. Like, I understood where they were going with it, but there's definitely a better way to do it. Regardless, I love the movie. Anyway.
I thought it was fine, but, like, I don't even think it's really above average.
Yeah.
I honestly thought Dark Knight Rises was considerably better than The Dark Knight.
I'm not sure I agree
which I think is an incredibly unpopular opinion. I don't give a shit.
Anyway. Any games you're excited for? What's coming out soon? You didn't play Dishonored,
well, define
right?
soon.
Well, all right. Well, in the next, couple months.
Okay. Because my immediate instinct, when you say games I'm excited about, I'm going to say Ace Attorney 5, which probably isn't going to come to America until, like, 2014 if I'm lucky.
Yeah, that doesn't really count.
No.
You didn't play Dishonored at all, right?
Nah, I mean, like, it's not really my thing.
Yeah, I want to try it. I discovered that Redbox rents video games. I might do that. Because I
definitely
don't want to own it. I'd rather not spend any money on it, but clearly that's not an option.
Well, see, I know Telltale Games is coming out with the 5th Walking Dead game pretty soon.
Have you been playing those?
January? I haven't actually. I mean, like I haven't watched or read anything involved with The Walking Dead. Like zombies aren't really my thing. I hear like really mixed things about like. It's like I hear basically like Walking Dead as a TV series is amazing, but it's also way too slow and gets really boring.
I mean, the second season certainly had that problem. The first season, I would not say that's true. This season so far has been way, way up there. This has definitely been... It blows the second season out of the water for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
But one thing I've heard about the games is that for one, I think they just deal with like a different part of the story.
Yeah, they're
like,
in the same world, but that's about it.
Yeah, like it's completely different characters, I think.
Yeah.
And also, I hear that it sort of does the thing that I always wanted, like the Quantic Dreams games to do, but they never really did. Quantic Games being like Fahrenheit/Indigo Prophecy, depending on if you're in Europe or America, and then also Heavy Rain, which more people know.
Oh yeah.
And like allegedly, like the decisions that you make over the course of the various episodes sort of like actually have an influence over what like how characters treat you. And like what things happen to you and stuff like that, which like that's the kind of thing I've really wanted adventure games to do. I feel like that's the next step for adventure game, because like adventure gaming is basically my thing. Like I don't like first person shooters. I suck at most other games, even if I like them.
Yeah.
But like adventure games, I like, and even if you're bad at them, no one makes fun of you for it.
Right. Right. Except maybe you make fun of me because I'm terrible at them, but that's another thing.
I don't make fun of you for being terrible at them. I make fun of you for not fucking playing them, you goddamned asshole.
I don't play them because I'm terrible at them. Anyway, that's beside the point. It's a good point though, because like a lot of video games, especially first-person shooters, try to add in that like. Not necessarily moral choice, but like, you know, you can get alternate endings.
Yeah, the moral choice thing and the derivatives of it have become very popular.
Right, but it's funny though, because like first-person shooters is the last place you want.
Yeah,
it's literally the last place. Like maybe sorry, the last place is probably like Madden. You know, if you make the moral choice to like kick someone in the nuts.
Actually, that would be really funny. I would think it's really funny if like a sports game, because you know, like news events that happen to like athletes like totally affect their careers.
That's
you
true.
know, like.
Yeah, but like that would not be a way to integrate in the game. The bottom line is like having them in first-person shooters is ridiculous because
it doesn't make a ton of sense.
Because when you play a first-person shooter, most of the time you're playing it because you want to shoot people, and so playing the game.
You don't want the game to discourage you from shooting everything because it's a shooter.
It's a shooter. You're supposed to shoot people. Telling you not to is stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway, so. I think like the thing place for me to go is adventure games, most certainly, for that mechanic.
The thing for me about adventure games is that adventure games have always been more about story than basically any other video game genre by like a pretty huge margin.
Yeah, and I feel like it would be like, much easier to program the moral choice system into an adventure game, which has a lot more constraints on the way you can move through the game. Right,
and again, like that's what Fahrenheit/Indigo Prophecy was supposed to be. When they first released like demos and trailers, it was like, you know, you can, like, you in that game you have like a sanity meter, because like basically the first character you play as a couple, but I think he's arguably the central character. The first character you play as, he's at this diner, and he like blacks out, and he wakes up in the bathroom after stabbing a guy to death in ritual fashion.
Like you do.
Yeah, it happens to, you know, the best of us. And so, like, he's like, freaking out, obviously. And so then, like, you have the choice. You can either try and, like, calm him down, like, wash the blood off his hands, try and, like, hide the body and sneak out of the diner before anyone notices. Or you can just, like, run out screaming with blood on your hands, like, flailing like a psychopath.
That's what I would do.
And, yeah, and, like, you know, these things were supposed to, like, have a pretty big influence on, like, how the game unfolded. But, like, ultimately, there were very few times that, like, it had serious ramifications. Basically, it was like the choice was like if you don't do enough to like keep yourself sane, then eventually you just go crazy.
Yeah.
And like then you lose the game.
Right.
Like that's basically the only thing that system did.
Right.
Heavy Rain was like a little bit better, but not by a ton. Heavy Rain advanced like different aspects. I've watched multiple Let's Plays of it.
I really want to play it.
We could play that sometime. I was actually thinking we should try Walking Dead.
Oh yeah, maybe that's not a bad idea.
Because, you know, people could see, like, the choices we make and what goes wrong, and I haven't played it, so it could be blind, and we could be horrified by the results.
Yeah, that sounds good. Only problem is that our list of, like, games we want to Let's Play is really long now.
That's kind of true.
Well,
I don't know.
Either way, it's definitely something we're gonna have to look at. Leave a comment if you think that's a good game we should play.
Yeah, sure. And I don't know, feel free to leave other suggestions. We'll certainly take them into consideration if there's games you want to see us play.
Yeah, most certainly. It's certainly better to have people tell us what to play rather than us trying to figure it out ourselves. We don't want to have to think. That's true, because
then more people... We really don't. We're not good at it. Have you watched our show?
I mean,
We're not good at it.
I've made that.
Have you seen LA Noire? I think that's the best indication of how bad we are at thinking.
Yeah, and according to the numbers, most of you have. So.
It's true. We certainly have more hits on that than anything else. Although, I got the Skylanders video with the giant robot in it. The numbers are skyrocketing. It's stupid.
That's awesome.
I think I broke like 600 or 700 at this
amazing.
Point.
You guys
and like I uploaded that like less than a month ago.
You guys should all check out Vasco's channel and watch his episode. What was it called?
It's called Ancient Gundam Style.
Yeah.
It's about like a level where you pilot a giant robot in Skylanders, and I think a bunch of people are just looking for Gundam Wing parodies of Gangnam Style. So that's happening.
Yep. All right. Well, that's about an hour. Look at that. Time flies.
We got a little bit to cut off at the beginning. Maybe we can come up with some sort of closing arguments.
Okay, go for it.
I don't. Do you want to talk about probably the biggest project we have in the wings? I don't know.
Yeah,
when,
let's
doing.
If we're going to announce it, might as well do it now, right? Perfect time.
Sure.
So we have been talking about for a while, trying to figure out, the next step in our channel, and I think what we're going to do is...
well, let me preface it a little bit.
Sure, go ahead.
Is that, so, we're looking to grow our channel and our audience, and we want things that are exciting and accessible to people, and the Renegade Constabulary started because I really wanted to get into the Let's Play thing, because I'm the freak who actually watches the Let's Plays.
Yeah, you watch a lot more than I do, but I do watch them on occasion.
Do you really? Are you only counting like Yogscast? Because like they technically are. They are.
Actually, yeah. At this point, it's probably only them. I've watched others, but mostly others that because I want to see the game rather than I care about watching Let's Plays.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of it. Started when I was in college and I was too broke to fucking buy all the video games I wanted to play.
Yeah. Part of the problem with me though is that I just would prefer to play a game than to watch someone else play it. I was always that guy.
It depends on the game.
While everyone else watched, I could never just be someone who watched.
I mean, it depends on the game. Something I don't know, silent, like most survival horror games. I'm interested in knowing the story behind them because I find that cool. But the actual you have to use limited ammo and be good at killing things efficiently. I fucking suck at that.
Yeah,
I would just die in
stressful.
The first world.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. But yeah, so basically it started because I was really interested in that. So we were doing Let's Plays and that was our thing. We uploaded fucking million Zelda videos and no one ever watched them. And then eventually we did really bad at LA Noire and everyone watched them.
Yep.
And I don't know. I've gotten some feedback from some of my friends and various other sources where sort of I love the idea of the video game thing and you sort of riffing on them and stuff like that. But I don't have time to watch 60 parts of whatever Let's Play it is.
Yeah, right.
And you don't know where to jump in or what the good stuff is. So we had sort of discussed trying to find something a little bit more accessible, and we came to the idea of a sort of a review show. I mean, it would be a review show if we did it.
Yeah.
And I came up with a really clever name that I'm excited about. So this project is codenamed Trial and Error.
Yeah.
So, basically the concept is we play the demos, or as Xbox likes to put it, the, quote, trial version of games from Xbox Live Arcade. So we play the demo, see what they have to offer, what they're showcasing of the game, and then we determine whether or not that's probably worth buying, I guess.
Yeah, not a lot of planning beyond that. We're gonna have...
No, I mean, we would basically go into everyone probably blind. We might do a little bit research to know what genre the game is, or maybe if there's weird facts about it. But for the most part, I imagine we probably just pick a game, maybe a game that people are interested in us trying.
Yeah.
And then play it and see what happens.
Yeah, so we would love some suggestions if there's some demos that you've played that you think are ridiculous and you want us to play and check out. Definitely let us know. If there are any games that you haven't played that you want, you don't want to bother downloading the demo or, what have you, let us know.
Yeah.
And certainly, if you don't own the system and want to check out the game on the system, let us know.
That's a great one.
We've got pretty much everything but the Wii U at this point. So
yeah,
if there's a demo you want to see played, let us know.
I'll say this on that subject. Well, I don't think I'll be getting the Wii U anytime soon. Whenever I get my first like payment from YouTube.
Right.
And I don't want to talk too much in detail about that because that gets you in trouble. But
right.
whenever that happens, I intend on putting it towards a Wii U.
Yeah.
And so the more people watch my channel, the more quickly we can do that.
Yay! All right. Well, if you were desperate to see Wii U videos, then you should help us make that happen.
Yes.
Woot. All right. Well, I think this has been a very successful something cast.
I mean, this is probably the best we could have hoped for. I still don't know what we're calling it.
Yeah. Well, I'm
certainly
call
it the Talk Box, but I don't think that's happening.
Well, we'll figure it out. Thank you very much for listening, and if you like this and want to hear more, let us know. Maybe we'll do another one.
Yeah, it's true. We had talked about doing this for a long time, but it came up that because of the jury duty, I couldn't record enough to cover the break, so we hoped that an hour of us talking at you would be something you wanted to listen to. Yeah, I'm going to be really interested to see how many people actually listen to this bullshit. Seriously.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out.
Wait, we should tell them some code phrase to leave in the comments to let us know that they listened to the whole thing.
That's a great idea. What should it be?
Pineapple. It's a reference to Chuck.
Gotcha.
I love that show, even though it got real bad.
Yep.
But I'm telling you, the finale's really good. You should watch it.
Yeah, I know. I probably should catch up on it. Once I run out of shows to watch some summer when there's nothing on, I'll probably watch it.
That's not true. You'll never do that.
Yeah, probably not.
All right. You'll sooner play Back to the Future, which you'll never do.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone. And
thanks for listening. Hopefully you tune back in. We'll resume normal videos as soon as possible. Probably next week. I think we have it planned out to work that way.
Yeah. Yeah, next week.
Cool. All right. So hopefully we'll see you then. Thanks for watching. If you like this, you want more, as Tek said, you should let us know. And like, subscribe, comment, favorite. These things are great.
All right. Bye, everybody.
See ya. Happy holiday. Thanksgiving
waved.
Holiday.
I just
that
waved.
one.
I don't know why I waved. There's no reason.
I saluted.
Wow.
I saluted.
Wow. All right.